back at the Coolmini place, and they've got some time for me. This is Ross.
Kevin.
Kevin. There you go.
Last year you forgot me already.
By the way, that's a tactic for getting people to tell you their name. Just throw whatever name out there. All right, let's roll. So first up is Dark Age. Tell me what's happened with Dark Age in the last year.
In the last year, we launched a new revision to the game,
right?
Which updated a bunch of things to it.
Can you pull it out and kind of show us the book looks like?
This is the core rule book.
Right, and I noticed that's about, what, 96 pages? Let's open it up and take a look at it.
You can see here.
Okay. Right.
So this is just the core rules.
Right.
And then the secondary product, way over here, which we're almost out of apparently,
you need to get those books up top.
It's true. We have to rebuild all of these shelves in the near future.
Right.
So this is all of the faction stuff,
and apparently a lot of new art has come out.
A lot of new art. There's a lot of new stuff.
How many factions are there?
So there are a total of 6 basic factions.
Okay.
Inside each there's subgroups. So the Forsaken here, as an example, they're the Forsaken, and then there's the 4 Saints under the Forsaken that are the sub-factions for them. The Dragiri next to them, there's 2 sub-factions for them, the Ice Cast
look at that.
and the Air Cast. So you see the female models are Air Cast, the big male models are Ice Cast.
Start another turn after
That's the Dragiri?
Yeah. To go ahead and finish up your games as quickly as possible.
Look at that thing.
No more turns are started after this point.
What are these ice guys made out of?
They're just a clear blue resin.
And that's how they come?
Yeah, you can buy them, either the ones painted or metal, and the clear ones come that way. And that's actually, they aren't cleaned up or anything, they're just put together and they're there. They actually drop on the table like missiles. And then they hang out and fight. So they're kind of cool.
Neat. Not in real life, though. In the game, you imagine.
Only in the game. Only in the game.
You don't actually drop them from a great height.
No.
So hold on a second. How many entries in the book are there for each faction?
God, I don't know. How many models per faction? Don't be wrong. Specifically? Sure. Roughly. Which one do you want specifically?
Is it 10, more than 10 or less than 10? How about How about 20?
More than 20.
More than 20. Okay.
Forsaken alone have 4 different Saint sub-factions, each with 4 specific units by themselves. So that's 16 by themselves, plus say about another 7 or 8 generic ones. So the Forsaken alone have about 25 different units.
All right, and I'm trying to give context because people are used to Warhammer, obviously. And typically in a Warhammer book, it's 20 to 40 unit entries per army. Right. And how does that compare up? Anyway, go ahead.
It's very similar.
Yeah, it is.
But
and I could say War Machine too.
Sure, same thing.
You open a War Machine book.
It's
actually 30 to 60 for War Machine.
Yeah, it's a much more of a skirmish game than either of those.
Right.
So like the most models you're going to see on the table, with the exception of Dragiri, who are kind of the Horde faction. They have a lot of little guys they bring with them. The most models you're actually going to see.
Now this is a lot more models than you had last year.
The Blood Cult just came out recently, so all those bloody models on the right are all new stuffs. The ladies with the whips.
Wow.
And,
okay.
So the most models you're going to see on the table in the average game is more like 10, and that's a medium to larger size game.
Rude. So what we've seen so far are 3 of the factions, right?
4 now.
4 factions. Sorry, I don't know why I said 3.
Yeah. When I said 6, and it's actually 5. The 6th one's coming later. It's not out
really?
yet.
Oh, what's the 6th one called?
That's the core. They're down here at the end.
Yeah, I actually did a video with some of those, and with these guys too.
We have Outcast, which is sort of like a Mad Max looking thing.
Right. For these guys, what they do is like create like a
and then Core, you saw earlier, they're AI robots.
Okay. Well, that's really super. I talked a ton about Dark Age last year, but it is. There's a limited resource out there, which is the attention of wargamers. So and miniatures games is getting to be a pretty crowded field. Like just this year, you see a lot of things.
Skirmish games are kind of in a golden era right now.
Right.
There's a lot of new skirmish games.
And evidently people to support them as well.
You can play 2 or 3 skirmish games for the price of playing a non-skirmish game, right? So I think a lot of people just get into it for that, where they're like, I'm gonna play Malifaux and have my cool westerny dudes, right? And then I'm gonna play Dark Age, so I have my crazy sci-fi bio-engineer engineered monster things.
Right.
And then I'll play whatever, right?
So the market there is the ADHD wargamer, the guy who, you know, he goes every week and he's like, oh, that looks cool, oh, that looks cool, oh, that looks cool.
I know a lot of those guys.
Well, guess what? Now you get that works.
Yeah.
Now I bought 15 figs. I managed to paint them up. Yes, we will. We will.
So,
You don't need Ritalin. You just
No,
need
just buy more
you just need the thing. Yeah.
It's cheaper.
All right, great. So what's next? I just wanted to get an idea of like what games you have coming out. What's
Game
new?
Zone isn't a game; it's a models line.
Yeah.
Great if you're looking for alternate models for your fantasy army.
Anna went
Already
over that
talked
with
about all
us.
those. Malifaux, you know, of course.
Right.
The Banelord stuff, I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yeah, we talked about that too. That
Which,
is
of course,
ridiculous.
is just stuff we have here at in the booth that we carry. And then once you get over here, as I walk into you, we have a bunch of the stuff that we produce. So, you know, we have Kang and our models that we do down
Yeah, I
there.
got a real nice shot of Kang over there.
And then we have the Confrontation limited edition models.
Okay, now that's where Anna couldn't tell me
Sure.
what was happening. I need you to tell the fans what is going on with Confrontation.
So we just recently signed the deal to bring Confrontation back, the whole game.
Now, hold on, in fact, can we move away from
Yeah, let's get away from the noise.
Right. That's tough to do around here. In fact, I'm going to get you with this thing
Sure.
in the background. That'll be infinitely better. All right, we're back. We actually took a break just there. So Kevin's going to tell me about Confrontation, which for me is a very interesting saga. It starts in like the year 2000.
Yeah, they were really like
their miniatures were just so great.
Prolific miniatures company.
Oh yeah, and their product was so good that they could have gone on forever if they had just kept making great miniatures.
Or not.
Or not.
Things happen, right?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, or not is the tagline of Coolmini or not. They say in the break room, they're like, "Hey, I think I'm up for some coffee," or not.
Yeah, that doesn't
Sorry,
happen.
no.
It's
Okay,
never
so tell
funny.
us about
It's never
Confrontation. What's going on?
So the brief history of Confrontation, as I understand it, is
Oh, hold on a second. Listen closely, kiddies, because you're going to hear a great tale here. Go.
so Confrontation was produced by Rackham. Rackham was pretty much the #2 miniatures company for a long time, right behind Games Workshop. They were really the second most successful company. They had some struggles in the early 2000s, wherein they went into pre-painted plastics and did these things, filed for bankruptcy. They got bought out by a media company. I don't remember exactly what they did, but so they got purchased by the company, and things didn't really fall through. So that company closed the doors.
Kevin, can you hold on? Sorry, guys. It was just so loud in there. And this is so cool. Oh, please.
I will sit.
Go.
Let's see. Where are we at? We're at
That they had
media
some trouble.
company.
Right.
So they launched 1843. Pre-painted plastics, and that didn't do super well. It did okay, but I think it was sort of the first of a bad thing, and that was sort of the end for them. The company eventually ended up getting closed, and the IPs got sold off.
Right.
So the Confrontation IP got bought by a company called Cyanide Studios, who's a video game company. They made the Blood Bowl video game, and 2 weeks ago they launched the Confrontation video game.
Right.
So that's who we're working with to do the Confrontation video game.
So does that mean you guys have the old molds?
We do not have the old molds. The old molds are all destroyed. Storing molds is really, really hard. However, we have the old masters.
Okay.
So we're going to make new molds out of those.
So you got those.
Right.
But now that is a lot of miniatures to make molds for.
Yes, it is.
And like repackage them and keep them in stock to successfully distribute them? Are you going to pick and choose? How's that going to work?
The way we're building it out right now is we are working through the catalog, and we're going to the masters. The masters aren't in a state that anybody who likes these things should ever see. It's really, really sad the condition they got to us in. So we're having to go through, clean them up, put things back together, make sure all the parts are there, figure out it's all there, and then send them off to our manufacturer who's mastering a bunch of pieces right now for us. So I believe the first two sets that we're looking to put out, or factions, are the Wolfen and the Griffin factions. I believe the first two. We were hoping to have stuff with us, but obviously, like I said, that's a lot. They were in a hell of a state. It's taken a lot longer to get that stuff put together than we expected it to. So we're working through it. All of that said, we're rebuilding the rules.
Do you think the Wolfen were the most popular?
I believe the Wolfen and Griffin were the most popular.
They were one of the most numerous because they were the early ones.
Yeah.
But you know, and then kind of near the end of Rackham, they came out with the Daikini, which are like the wood elves.
Right.
And they're not and those are hard to find.
Yeah.
Those are so rare.
A whole lot didn't get made.
The best part of the line, in my opinion, is the alchemists. Those have probably the most evocative.
Yeah, they're super cool models. Super cool.
Okay, so that's what you're doing. You're basically just republishing.
So our goal right now is we're going to take the 3rd edition rule set.
Okay.
We're evolving it and cleaning it up. We're doing a little polish to it.
Is it going to be 4th edition?
It's called Phoenix Edition is the name of the project. So
right.
So that's what it is.
Okay. So why not just say 4th edition?
Because
the Phoenix sounds cooler. Okay. Okay, got it.
So it's going to be based on the 3.0 rules. We're cleaning it up. We're taking some of the things out of 3.5, a little bit of this and that, and basically kind of cleaning up the rule set to a place we like.
Okay, and actually publishing a book.
It will be published. We're shooting for later this year. We'll see how that works out, depending on how much work it really turns into. I know there's guys working on it right now.
Oh, it's huge.
So it's a lot to undertake. In the interim, we're working to get the models back into supply and into production. So, you know, we got the first 2 factions we're working on. We're going to continue to try to release pairs of factions as quickly as we can to get the catalog basically re-up to date.
Right.
And then after that, you know, the sky's the limit. We'll see what we
How
can
long
do
do you think it'll take per
I have
pair?
no idea. It's because of the condition the Masters
Right.
gave us, and it's an adventure every time.
You're
we
kind
the
of
next
starting
one.
from scratch.
Yeah. I mean, we have all the stuff, but it's bagged. Some of it's not bagged together. Sometimes you're like, what is this extra piece? Oh, it goes to this dude over here.
Wow.
So it's
now I know exactly what you're talking about because I picked up a lot of secondhand collections of Confrontation figures, which can either be very expensive or they can be really just dirt cheap. Some guy's old things, you know.
threw in a shoebox
And then and it makes me sad inside.
Yeah.
You know, and you really got to restore those things. So now I'm interested to know how many irons does Coolmini or not have in the fire? If you just give us an overview. You've got Dark Age.
Dark Age. We're doing the manufacturing,
and I'm talking about just games.
Just games.
Right.
To put it in perspective, we're launching five things at Gen Con.
Wow. Okay, go ahead. What are they?
So we have Dark Age has a new faction book coming out this year. We have the Confrontation stuff. You know, we're shooting for a Gen Con. Gen Con's always the target, right?
Right.
We have Wrath of Kings, and then we have two board game projects that we're working on. Zombicide, which I think we looked at earlier.
So is that number 3?
Zombicide would be.
Zombicide really isn't such a miniatures battles game. It's kind of a standalone.
It's definitely a box game,
Right.
board game with
It's a
miniatures.
board game.
It's a board game with
and
miniatures.
because that for me that's not on the list for the purposes of asking what miniatures games are you doing? Like
so
Super Dungeon Explorer, you did that one, but that's a standalone.
Right. It's the same idea. It's a box game with miniatures. So as far as just miniatures, we have 4. We have Dark Age, we have Wrath of Kings, we have Confrontation, we have Relic Knights. All of those have different partners that we work with.
Right. So because Relic Knights is the Soda Pop miniatures, right?
Soda Pop miniatures.
And Relic Knights doesn't have a big range. I don't even understand how that plays. Do you just have like one guy on the board?
It's very much a skirmish game. You're looking at like 7 to 10 models on the table for an average game. 15 to 20 being really the high end. The maximum the game will allow you to play with.
Right.
We work with different partners. Our different partners we have different relationships with, right? So for Relic Knights, we do the manufacturing and the distribution. So that's all we do with that relationship.
So hold on a second. Just for those of you that need to know, Relic Knights is kind of an odd name for if you actually saw the figures.
Yeah.
Like if you just heard the name,
well, we got it in the case.
You would right, and I'll take you guys by there. It's kind of like
It's the bubbly,
anime women with robots type
women.
thing. Okay.
It's about half women.
Oh, okay.
So it's very bubblegum
I don't know.
crisis.
Yeah, basically, it's
that sort of like super happy, fun, bubbly anime kind of,
which is great. But
sci-fi anime.
That's the genre.
Yeah.
Now, Wrath of Kings, I'd never seen that. Anna showed us the figures for
So
it.
we just started talking about Wrath of Kings. Wrath of Kings, we're doing the distribution and manufacturing again. With it's five houses is the name of the company that's doing the development.
Okay, and go.
So
Wrath of Kings.
being developed and made by Five Houses is the name of the company that's doing the work on that.
And is that a skirmish game as well?
It is actually more of a war game than it is a skirmish game.
Okay,
So you're looking at 30 to 50 as the model count on the table. For the average game for this first book.
Now,
with the potential to be larger.
Is it skirmish in the sense that you don't have ranked up guys?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's more of a large scale game, but it's not a rank and file game.
So,
more
more like War Machine.
40K or War Machine.
Okay.
Less in the direction of Dark Age.
But it's a
or
fantasy.
Infinity.
It's a fantasy
It is
setting.
it is a proprietary fantasy
the
setting.
and it has some oddball stuff. You know, anthropomorphic animals and
it's
stuff
very
like
human
that.
built.
Okay.
The setting is very human-centric. All of the things in there that aren't human were human. They either were human or there's some kind of spirit or elemental pulled to this place, and they're bound temporarily.
It's fantasy.
So it's very fantasy. It's fantasy, high magic, a little bit of steampunk.
Now, is this a thing where Coolmini is really just fronting and distributing these games, and there's somebody else, a partner, who makes them, actually says, okay, we're investing the money, and is this going too deep? I don't want to...
Depending on the product, all our relationships are very different. Our relationships with Soda Pop Miniatures, for example, are just what you said. We do the manufacturing and the distribution. They do the development, they get all the art made and all of that. We just get the books made, we get the models made, and so on.
But they provide you with like a master rule book that's been play tested.
They give us the files, they give us all that, and we just get it printed.
That's the genius and power of Coolmini, is you guys, for all those years, you built up this base of, you know, I don't know how many, 300,000 people or more that come to your site every day, and so you're in a great position to sell this stuff. All of a sudden,
and we have a shop
what great fortune!
We have a shop on our site because people demanded it of us.
Right.
They were like, "We want to buy these things, and we can't get them somewhere else. Sell them to us." And and that's kind of what started us down the road of doing. We do a lot of manufacturing for European companies, for the U.S.
So really, these games you're coming out with, it's not like you're on 4 different development teams because you're on the Coolmini staff.
Right.
It's more like this is a product that you're selling and promoting.
I am, but that's because that's kind of.
But
I
all of
oversee
them?
a lot of the
Really?
products.
Oh, okay.
So I do a lot of the projects.
Oh, okay. So this other partner, you're like, yeah, Kevin's coming over to kind of see what you guys are up to and that kind of thing.
So
again, I don't want to get into your business too much.
No, it's
okay. Hold on. He says okay.
Relic Knights is unique because before I started working for Coolmini, I was working with Black Ball Games to do the development for that game. So I'm one of the developers for Relic Knights.
Okay.
And I helped out with Soda Pop with Super Dungeon Explorer as well.
Great.
But that predated my time with Coolmini. Since I'm here now, I still kind of do that stuff with them, just in a different capacity.
Right. Okay. Now, out of all those games, the lightning round. Out of all those games, if you had to only stick with one, if it was like Coolmini can only pick one of these games, which one would you pick?
Well,
just you personally.
Wrath of Kings is my baby right now.
Okay.
So
you'd say
I'm
Wrath
in charge
of
the rules development for Wrath of Kings.
No kidding.
And I think Wrath of Kings is
But there's no rule book for it right now.
Not today. Again, we're shooting for a Gen Con release.
That's
right?
fine.
So I think that would definitively be. It will be, I think, the biggest miniatures game that we've put out today.
Okay, so let's, because it seems like Dark Age has kind of been in the works for a while.
It's a 10-year-old game.
And I guess, and because my thing with Dark Age is it was kind of all over the place in terms of like scale and, you know, but now that you're putting out, you know, more miniatures, it seems like it's kind of coming into focus. Like they're all the same scale, but it all makes sense. Of course, if you're on an alien world, well, these guys can be 12 feet tall, and maybe this one is, you know, 6 feet tall or 4 feet or whatever.
Well, when you deal with crazy space marines, right?
Let's talk about Wrath of Kings then. So Wrath of Kings, you said the model count will be like 30 to 50, kind of like the feel of War Machine, what War Machine is. And although I don't like to compare one game to another because that always kind of like, I imagine would rankle the creator to say, oh, well, it's like that. No, my game is its own thing. Anyway, so Wrath of Kings, how many factions does it have?
There's
and how many
five
army
factions.
list entries per faction?
For the first book, there's 5 factions,
Okay.
and there's 10 entries per faction.
Okay.
So that's where we're at.
Okay. All right. And because again, people viewing obviously will try and in their minds they'll try and find some kind of context
Sure.
for it of like, well, what's really required, to do this. So typically, like in War Machine, if you count them up, oh my gosh, they have 30 to 60 entries per faction, and they're up to 14 or 15 factions now. Because obviously, if you keep releasing new things, hordes, War Machine, minions, in minions, there's the Gatorman and the other, the dwarves, yes. And so, anyway, my point is, it just gives some kind of context for how many. So you're going to release more things in subsequent books.
So we're working on the plan for book 2. We know we're going to release more models for the existing factions.
Yeah.
We may or may not add more. We're kind of
because 10 is a little light
right now. 10 is where we're starting. Right?
Okay.
And we know we're going to do more.
And now, what's the physical material then? Are you going to stick with pewter,
Right now,
type
we're
stuff,
looking at
or
a
resin?
metal resin hybrid. Although we are discussing moving into a plastic menu.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Plastic will mean injection mold.
Yeah.
Like
Something
wow.
in that direction. So we're
because that's the hump.
we have a lot. We have a lot to
get
figure
over.
out to do that.
Right.
So
Can you blow 10,000, 50,000, 100,000
lots
on
of
a mold?
thousands.
Oh yeah. It's my thing is, well, okay, where's the technology to actually make this?
Right.
Like I don't want to go to a company and say, make me my mold, and they go, oh well, it's this amount. Okay, well, how are they doing it? What equipment do they have?
Right.
So I can just order my $500 aluminum block, and just labor it on out.
if only it wasn't such a highly skilled thing.
Right?
Tooling molds is really hard, it turns out. So
Yeah.
we have a lot of partners in the years that we've worked with, especially with the board games and things. So we have a lot of partners that we go to for that kind of work, and so we have a lot of pre-established relationships, which is really helpful.
Oh, yeah.
When you're trying to get into that kind of thing. So
Well,
we'll see how it works out. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. We're still deciding. So we'll either do a metal resin, maybe we'll do plastic. That's kind of all the doors are still open right now. We haven't closed any. So.
Well, I have to tell you, Coolmini is like, you guys are turning into quite the powerhouse, and I think it's fantastic.
Time and we like to make cool things. So,
Right. Well, you have to have the love. I don't think anybody's here for the money, but
Not real money,
the money can be there, and I believe this is an emerging market, and because you've seen over the years, just at Adepticon, kind of how things have emerged.
Yeah.
You've seen different companies kind of show up, and some of them don't. They die off. But I think we're just getting started, basically.
Yeah,
There's
and the world is changing. Like the rapid prototyping technology, 3D printing, that stuff is going to change the face of this hobby in ways that I don't think we can fully even realize right now. Because right now it's still it's still expensive. But who knows? 5 years, somebody will come up with a technology to just produce in 3D printing, right? And then what?
Well, what you'll do, what I predict is there'll still be barriers to entry. Like it'll be like Kinko's.
Right.
There's still Kinko's even though people have printers in their houses, right?
Yeah.
So in miniatures, even if there's 3D printing, and I believe the technology can only get more fine.
Right.
That you'll have like your company. What you'll do is you'll just have a battery of 10, 20, 50 of these 3D printers. And that's what you'll do. You'll go in and you'll type in the order, and the guys, you'll package them. It'll be made to order instead of casting it every single time in like a spin caster with 10 of that thing.
Yeah.
Right? And they'll make them out of much more durable materials. But I think we're really a long ways off from it getting into people's homes.
Yeah. No,
where
I agree.
because but you never know. And
It'll be an adventure.
we'll change.
We have a hell of
we'll
a few years
change
in
with the
front of
times.
us.
I'm excited. And just a final note. So, by the way, huge privilege to talk to Kevin because he is very knowledgeable about the industry. So we've been really lucky to have your time. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.